Not all heroes wear capes. You've heard the phrase, but today we're diving deep into the stories behind these words. Ordinary people, often overlooked and underestimated, have taken on massive challenges and shifted the course of history in ways no one could have expected. Today, on Darklight Archives, we're exploring the top 10 times ordinary people changed history in extraordinary ways. Number 10, Claudette Colvin, the teen who stood her ground. In 1955, 9 months before Rosa Parks made headlines, a 15-year-old named Claudette Colvin refused to give up her bus seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. Her bold defiance paved the way for the civil rights movement, though she remains lesser known than Parks. Yet without Claudette's initial bravery, the movement might have never gained its footing. Ordinary teen, extraordinary legacy. Number 9, Stanislav Petrov, the man who saved the world. In 1983, during the height of the Cold War, Stanislav Petrov was on duty when the Soviet Union's early warning systems mistakenly reported incoming US missiles. Rather than escalate to a nuclear response, Petrov trusted his gut and labeled it a false alarm. His decision may have prevented global annihilation. An ordinary duty officer saved billions with a simple act of bravery. Number 8, Oskar Schindler, the factory owner who became a savior. Oskar Schindler was a businessman and member of the NZ Party, with little more than a knack for profit. But after witnessing the horrors of the Holocaust, he spent his entire fortune bribing German officials to save over 1,200 Jews, risking his own life. An unlikely hero, Schindler showed us that even those with selfish beginnings can choose a heroic path. Jeanne de Clisson, the pirate lady of vengeance. In 1343, French noblewoman Jeanne de Clisson turned to piracy after her husband was executed by the French king. She assembled a fleet, raided French ships, and became known as the Lioness of Brittany, terrifying an entire nation and avenging her husband's unjust death. Jean's story proves that ordinary mothers can become extraordinary warriors. Miep Gies, the woman who hid Anne Frank. During World War II, Miep Gies, an unassuming secretary, took a massive risk by helping hide Anne Frank and her family from the Germans. For over 2 years, she provided food, books, and emotional support to those in hiding. Guy's courage preserved one of history's most poignant records of survival. Without her, Anne Frank's story might never have reached the world. Edward Jenner, the small-town doctor who invented vaccination. In the late 18th century, Edward Jenner noticed that milkmaids who caught cowpox didn't seem to get smallpox. He hypothesized that exposure to cowpox could protect against the deadly disease. His work laid the foundation for modern vaccines, saving countless lives. Jenner was just an ordinary country doctor, yet his curiosity transformed public health forever. Harriet Tubman, the Conductor of Freedom. Escaping from slavery would have been achievement enough for anyone, but Harriet Tubman returned to the South multiple times to lead over 70 enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Despite the danger, she became one of the most powerful figures in the abolitionist movement. Tubman's bravery is a reminder that ordinary people can be beacons of freedom. Ignaz Semmelweis, the doctor who advocated hand-washing. In the mid-1800s, Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis observed that women were dying from infections after childbirth due to doctors not washing their hands. His push for basic hygiene was revolutionary at the time, though largely ignored. His advocacy, later proven crucial, changed medical practices, saving countless lives and making Semmelweis a true unsung hero. Rosa Parks, the woman who sat down to stand up. When Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus, she sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, igniting the civil rights movement. Parks was a quiet seamstress, not looking for fame or glory, but her peaceful defiance reshaped the course of American history. She showed the world that even small acts can become monumental. Gavrilo Princip, the teenager who triggered a global conflict. In 1914, 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand, setting off a chain reaction that would lead to World War I. What began as an impulsive act by a young nationalist turned into a historical turning point, reshaping global politics, borders, and ideologies for decades to come. Sometimes it's the actions of the young and unassuming that have the most explosive impact. And there you have it, 10 ordinary people who changed the world in ways they could have never anticipated. Each of these individuals took a leap, big or small, that rippled through time. What will you do with your ordinary life? Perhaps you're one small decision away from changing history. Subscribe to Darklight Archives for more fascinating tales like these. And remember, sometimes the quietest voices make the loudest echoes.